What's going on, everyone? I really think that the Lakers need to go and push for a star, right? Zach Lavine, Brandon Ingram, something along those lines. Cam Johnson, kind of borderline, right? But like really a Zach Lavine or a Brandon Ingram. Now, look, I've talked heavily about Zach Lavine, a bit about Brandon Ingram, not as much as anywhere close to Zach Lavine. And I know people are sick of me talking about Zach Lavine and stuff like that. I get it. But it's the closest we can get to winning a championship. Going and getting a Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe would be great. Don't get me wrong. It would be great. But does that really get us to a contention window? No. Right? We would need a Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe, and then, bring in a Markelle Fultz, and then bring in a Cody Martin, right? Like, now you're probably there with 4 or 5 guys, which I've talked about. We really need like 3 to 4 mid-tier guys, or we need that one guy and then like a mid-tier guy and like a low-tier guy, right? Like solve your 3-and-D wing and then get your backup center, which you can get. You can get Brandon Ingram for pennies on the dollar right now. He gives you a little more flexibility, little more questions about just the fit with him compared to Zach Lavine, where I think Zach Lavine would be easy, just plug and play, right? Zach Lavine, again, you can get him pennies on the dollar. But here's the other thing. You have these other teams that are trying to win a championship, that are in contention already, that are going, you know what? Let's go get a Brandon Ingram, right? Let's go get a Zach Lavine, right? Talking about Denver. And yet, people look at Denver and think like, oh, okay, well, they're willing to trade Michael Porter Jr. for one of these guys. Why? Is it because Michael Porter Jr. is trash or anything? No. Michael Porter Jr. usually just busts our behinds, right? But it's because of what those guys can do and the ceiling that it raises. Those are guys that can create for themselves, that can go and create their own shots, create for others, right? On a bad night, they're giving you that still top-end production, the gravity that they draw. Right? Like there's a reason that they are in that tier, in that level. It's because of the style in which that they can create and the ceiling in which that can be raised. And we have a 40-year-old, year 22 LeBron James. Lakers need to pick a lane. Either you're making the push and you're going to go get that guy, or you're not, right? People talk about depth. Oh, what about depth? What about depth? Do we have depth right now? Like, who's our top guys? Right now, we have Austin Reeves as our third guy. Who's our fourth? Honestly. Some nights it's D'Lo, sometimes it's Rui, sometimes it's somebody else. But even Austin Reeves, you can't comfortably bet that he's going to give you 15 to 20, right? Like, you don't know what you're going to get from these guys. And let's not even talk about the bench, who's one of the worst benches in the league. And that's with D'Lo on the bench, right? Like, we don't have depth. So to go and take Gabe Vincent, who's basically been a net negative all season long, D'Angelo Russell, who has had his moments here and there, but for the most part has not been great, and then a Rui Hachimura, who again, has his moments but has not been great. Go look at Zach Lavine and his production this season. He is literally giving you the production of D'Lo, Gabe Vincent, and Rui Hachimura combined. Literally combined. And people don't want him. Like, same thing with like a Brandon Ingram. Now, I know Brandon Ingram's hurt right now and stuff like that, right? But that was just kind of like a cheap play, that was kind of a fluke. But nonetheless, he'll be back. He'll be fine, right? Like, probably be about a month or so, but be around kind of the trade deadline when we get him back. But you get that guy that takes pressure off of LeBron, takes pressure off Anthony Davis, right? That actually now gets to slot in the third role. Right, a third option. And on most nights, are probably going to be your second guy. And it allows LeBron to heal. I mean, LeBron's already on one leg. He's already dealing with a foot injury. Right? If you're not willing to push your chips in and go get that piece, then fine, trade LeBron. Hey, buddy, we're going to trade you to the Warriors. Right? Anthony Davis, I would wait to trade just because, your hope is that like the Thunder, who just lost the in-season tournament, ends up losing in like the first or second round, and then you can be like, hey, what could raise your ceiling, right? And probably get a better return. Or you get one of these teams that are close, that aren't quite, that are like, man, we sell the farm and go get Anthony Davis, right? Like, that's what I think the approach is. But the thing is, though, too, is that you can have both. You can have this other star and still maintain depth, right? Like, you can go get Zach Lavine and still have top 8 guys, right? Because you can still go get Dorian Finney-Smith. You can still go get a Day'Ron Sharpe, or go get another guy. Or you can still even also go get a Cody Martin. I mean, if you trade Austin Reeves, you go get like 6 guys to add to, to Zach Lavine, right? Like, if you go get Brandon Ingram, same thing. It's not like one or the other. Like, that's the thing that people, I get comments a lot on, is that they make it sound like it's one or the other. Man, if we get Zach Lavine, then there goes all our depth. Like, first off, again, I ask you, what depth? What depth are you talking about? Because, again, look at the numbers. Watch the games. There is no depth. LeBron James and Anthony Davis have to score 60 points a game for us to just have a chance. Not even win the game, have a chance. Lakers have been 29th in total offense since that Orlando game. That's an 11-game sample size. That's half the games we've played. And the other half of the games, Anthony Davis was playing at an MVP level, scoring over 30 a game, and LeBron James was averaging like a 25-point triple-double. Like, again, it literally is 2 guys doing everything for us just to have a chance to win. Not even win, just to have a chance to win. And you think we don't need that other third consistent guy? Look, I love Dorian Finney-Smith. I've been so high. I've been pushing hard Dorian Finney-Smith since the last trade deadline, right? Like, hard. But he's not the answer by himself. Even him and Day'Ron Sharpe aren't the answer by himself. Him, Cam Johnson, and Day'Ron Sharpe by themselves might not be the answer. I think it gets you close. I think you may be there. But you look at these teams, again, Denver, they're not looking like, when they won the championship, they weren't deep. Boston won last year, they weren't deep. The last like 4 champions haven't been deep. They've been like 6, 7 guys. Once you get to the playoffs, you're only running 7, 8 guys anyway. Like, even the Lakers, when they got to the conference finals, they weren't insanely deep. Like, the Lakers rehauled their entire roster, but it was only like 6, 7 guys that the Lakers really had, and Jared Vanderbilt ended up getting played off the basketball court, right? So again, it's like, again, you look, you need that front end talent. Talent wins. You need those guys that can carry the workload. And LeBron James has looked more human this season than he's ever looked. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. That doesn't mean he can't still, carry on a given night. If we get to the conference finals and it's a game 7, can LeBron just turn on the Jets? Yeah, sure. But you have to get there. And you have to get there with him not being humbled. You need to get there with him not broken down. And you going and getting a bunch of role guys and LeBron still has to do everything is not going to change that or fix that. Right? You need to go get a guy, in my opinion, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. I mean, more and more people are coming around to my side. Right? I've been preaching Zach Lavine and these guys for a while now. Right? Brandon Ingram, fit-wise, again, is a little riskier than Zach Lavine, but you get more flexibility. I also think he won't cost as much. He wants like 40, 50 million. What team is giving him that kind of money? I don't see that, especially with the new CBA. I can see him, 25 to 30 million. Cool. Right? But also, again, like, chances are the Lakers, realistically, for being honest, right? Again, I don't want to undersell, right? So, like, let me phrase this properly, right? Like, chances are the Lakers, even if everything goes perfect, like, let's say they get Zach Lavine, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cody Martin, and Day'Ron Sharpe, boom, right? Lakers are like 7, 8 deep, right? Do they have a much better chance in ceiling race to win a championship? Absolutely, right? But chances still are that they might not, right? And they may still be a piece or 2 away. This upcoming free agency is stacked. And guess what? The new TV deal comes and is going to uptick the salary cap. And oh yeah, the guy behind me was willing to take up to $20 million on a discount to bring in Klay Thompson, DeMar DeRozan, or Jonas Valanciunas, who Brandon Ingram and Zach Lavine are both better than. All 3 guys. You don't think LeBron, if the Lakers are a piece or 2 away, you don't think LeBron would take that discount to go do that when he was going to do it last season? Of course he would. Right? Like, I don't see him being like, man, nah. Like, man, we could get this guy? Yeah, sorry. Right? Like, I just don't see that happening. And it's just like, a team like Denver is going to go get a Zach Lavine or like a Brandon Ingram. And then everyone's going to be like, Rob Pelinka dropped the ball again. But all those same people were talking about how the Lakers would be foolish to go get those guys. Right? Like, it's just, like, what are our other options here? Right? Like, we need to make that push. if you make the push and it doesn't work, at least you did it. At least you tried, right? Like, yeah, there's going to be some people that are like, oh, oh, see, this is why you don't do that. But at the end of the day, like, would you rather have the Lakers just done nothing or make that push to go get that guy or two, right? There are other teams that are willing to make those pushes. There are other teams that are actively, any moment could maybe make that push. And we're all scared, right? Like, you have to take risks. Lakers have always taken risks, right? That's always been their thing, right? Dating back to, 70s and 80s, right? Like that's what the Lakers do. And sometimes it's not worked. Sometimes it's came close to working, right? Like Karl Malone, Gary Payton got to the finals. Karl Malone was healthy. That might have been a different finals, but Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, that was a botch, right? But no one was like, oh man, like we were all like, let's go. They're on the front cover of magazines and everything like that, right? Like, got to take a risk. I do. I think the Lakers, they need that bona fide third guy. It's my opinion. As always, pass a question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? We kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.